This Shabbat we begin reading from the book of Numbers, Bamidbar in Hebrew. Most of this Torah portion deals with the taking of a census of the Israelite nation, in particular, the combat readiness of their military. But the Tanakh, Hebrew Jewish scripture, is ambivalent about this relationship to taking census. Previously in Parshat Ki Tisa in the book of Exodus, it's assumed that the taking of a census could lead to the participants and the survey takers themselves to their death through plague. And so after you're counted, you need to make a payment to the government to offset the physical penalty of being part of the census process. And then you have to take another census of those who paid the census punishment tax. Sort of this negative feedback loop. And there's this black humor here in the Torah. First you count, then there's a plague, and so you have to count again, as if you can never get your numbers right. And then also in the book of Samuel 2, Shmuel Bet, and also in Divrei Armin, Chronicles 1, King David and the entire nation are punished with a horrible plague for David having taken a census. The Meforshim, the post-Talmudic rabbinic commentators, they struggle to explain what was David's sin? What's so wrong with taking a census, with counting? They conclude that in the case of David in particular, and census in general, the sin of counting is seeing your people, seeing other people as objects, as resources to satisfy your ego, to satiate your need to feel that you are in control, that you are powerful. The similarities to our current Jewish public conversation concerning policies and numbers is so salient, it's so relevant. In the institutional American Jewish world, over the past half century, there's been what scholars call a theology, a halacha of demographics. How many people registered for your program? How many households are members of your congregation? Who is affiliated with whom? Which movement? Which denomination? Who's engaged with Israel? And why and how? This has become the bulk of the conversation. Again, the halacha of American Jewish life. This fixation on demographics, it reminds me of Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel's speech to the Jewish Federation General Assembly back in 1964. And he said, "It is time to retire surveys and survival." That was back in 1964. Nothing much has changed. The problem remains, the challenge remains, that it isn't demographics or even about not giving Hitler a posthumous victory. Rather, it is about creating communities of meaning. But in our zeal to ensure the Jewish future, what Professor Wucher coined sacred survivalism, we forgot to articulate why, in fact, it matters for Judaism to continue. Communal systems cannot flourish where their only narrative are numbers and rules. For true vibrancy, communities require human stories of suffering and triumph, conflict and euphoria, humor and love, to ensure that a community understands its own depth and complexities. The ancient rabbis understood that human nature requires that we constantly be exposed to our success, to see our power, that we are the things that we own, the people that we control. David's sin was relating to his people as surrogates for his own ego. But David, all of us, are here to serve each other, to answer the question, why remain Jewish, not what? To teach each other how a commitment to Jewish life will, as J. Michelson writes, revive our spirit, rekindle our passion for living, infuse our lives with joy and with meaning, to satisfy our need to touch the transcendent in the world, to express our very humanity.